about CE5 and extraterrestrial contact, download my new book, now on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Apple, and 14 other platforms. Book authored by Donald Ledesma. CE5, Frequencies of Contact.
Has happened. I'm just skeptical about the abduction part of the story. To that extent, it wasn't like a visceral reality experience. It wasn't like a true memory. And that's what I had trouble with for years and years and years. Certainly, I shared the experience with the rest of the guys, and they might take that as remembering a real experience, but it's not. The encounter is real. I know that.
Bowman's anti-gravity stuff. But these, the ET ones, are completely seamless, and the light coming from them is so amazing, it's so pure, you never quite forget it. Because the light is coming from a source and materials that aren't manufacturable. You couldn't even manufacture something that pure in space. And there was a part of the craft that they got in Brazil, and I forget, it had magnesium and some other stuff in it, but the elements that were in it were so pure that even in the vacuum of space we could not manufacture it.
What's up, guys? This is Mike Beavers from The Theory, and you are listening to Alien Strand Podcast, the dopest UFO alien podcast out there. And if you want to find out about me, just go on YouTube and search UFOs over U of O or The Theory with Mike Beavers. Stay tuned, guys.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Alien Strand Podcast. I'm your host, Donald Ledesma, and welcome to today's show. Yeah. It's going to be a good one today. I do have a guest today. And his name's Richard Bowman, but he'll be coming out here soon. But before we get going, I just want to welcome everybody to Alien Strand Podcast. Catch us on 28, 29 platforms. You can even ask Alexa to play some Alien Strand Podcast. Yeah. Catch us on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Podbeans, Spreaker. We're on Spreaker Live right now, as a matter of fact. I'm glad you guys are listening, man, and just kind of paying attention to these shows. They've been really, really good. I've been giving a lot of information out, you know, and it's a lot about ufology, and that's what it is. And today we're going to get a little deep, too. Like the last podcast I talked about was Eternal or Internal. That was pretty deep, man, and I gave a lot of personal stories about myself and things that had happened, you know, personally about what happens after you die, right? Or what happens to people, you know, where their soul goes. Very good podcast. Go catch up to that one. Go check it out. One of my favorites now. And, you know, I just kind of like giving this, not kind of, I do love giving this information. And please follow us on ASDP. We have a new page on Facebook called it's called Alien Strand Global. 2. It's going to have a number 2 on it. So go look us up on Facebook. After this podcast is over, you'll see all my links that's on the bottom of the description. You'll be able to follow Alien Strand all over the place because we are global, man. That's what it's about. We're all about global. And we have a lot of amazing people working at Alien Strand Disclosure Project. We talk, we chat every day. We break down a lot of UFO videos. We've been throwing out a lot of good stuff lately. And, it's getting, I don't know what it is, but every time I say this, it's like these things are coming out of the sky more and more and more every day as we speak, right? And the videos are just getting more incredible as they come out, right? And when I posted one here recently, just a day ago on Alien Strand Global 2, if we go to that page, it was something like an orb that was floating there, right? And it was like, it almost looks like a human soul of some sort, kind of going back and forth, right? And it just kind of freaked me out for a second there because you don't catch orbs like that very, that close, especially really good on camera. And it's not AI. Believe me, that one is not AI. And it kind of reminded me of the orbs that Miss Jody Lynn Brown there in Arizona is getting as well. She's going to be on the fourth film. So if you're watching the middle films, thank you guys for watching them. The middle part 1, part 2, and part 3 are out on Amazon Prime. Go check those out. Give me a thumbs up, and go to your app too, man, and just give me a review if you like the film, if you like the content that was in there. That I would love to hear from you guys, about those films. We put a lot of hard work into it because it's disclosure, trying to get all the disclosure out there as much as we can, and it's for everybody. We're all here trying to help everyone out there that needs help when it comes to these extraterrestrial craft, extraterrestrial intelligence that's out there that a lot of times, will land on the ground and will walk up to your window, believe it or not. They will do that, right? So, and it's hard to explain it. It's hard to tell people exactly what you're seeing. And we have a lot of people there on our paranormal page. We have Shannon, we have David Aleph, you can talk to them about paranormal, or we have just the regular folks, out there, Marisol, everybody there, Ani Ball on the UFO sides, and David as well, and we break down a lot, John Dickinson. Yes, Paul Welburn. We break down a lot of UFOs on our pages. So please go check them out. Give them a shout out because they're very important to the Alien Strand Disclosure Project. We really appreciate every one of them because they work so hard to get you the disclosure as well. Now that I finished jibber jabbing, I want to talk to you about a guest that's going to be coming on here in just a second. His name's Richard Bowman. We've had him on before. And I'm sorry about this podcast. It's a little late. It's supposed to start at 7 o'clock my time, but I fell behind because something was happening. My computer was glitching really bad for some reason. And then when I tried to get him on the line, his side sounded like a modem. I have never heard that modem sound in a long time. We were getting some weird frequencies that were coming through his line on his side. We figured out it was coming from his side because I was a clear channel on mine, but it was so weird. But anyway, we're happy to have him on the show today. We're going to talk about what's been going on with him. And he's been, of course, if you've listened to him on the past podcast, maybe almost a year ago, we talked about his interdimensional little blue extraterrestrials that had been visiting him for quite some time now. And it's touched him deeply to where he's wants to kind of talk about his interdimensional experiences. Let's just say it that way. So that way, you guys can understand where he's at on that realm, right? Especially because not everybody gets to experience that, right? And when somebody does, they have a chance to explain themselves. And this is the best way to do it on Alien Strand Podcast. And I want to make sure that everybody keeps an open mind and just interacts and enjoys this show for today because it's going to be a good one. All right, without further ado, let's go ahead and get Mr. Richard Bowman on the phone now.
Interaction and enjoys the show.
Hello. You might want to turn down your radio in the background. It's coming through.
All right. Got it.
All right, brother. Thank you for being on the show today. I really appreciate you. reaching out and wanting to come back on the show. And people out there haven't heard from you for a bit, but I'm sure they're very intrigued on what's been going on with the interdimensional beings and things that are happening out there for you. So give us a little breakdown. What's been going on since we've talked about almost a year ago?
Well, my life has been kind of hectic recently. I've earned myself a publication broadcast name of Cosmic R because I run many shows on basic knowledge and advanced knowledge about entities, spirits, and these interdimensional beings, and sometimes, occasionally, extraterrestrials. But I'm finding that recently it's been more interdimensional and spirits and involved with grand design and intelligence, and a lot of lights in the sky, of course, and stars.
Right. Right.
What they're like these giant stars and orbs. They make up the constellations, and they seem to have a draw to me as well, like an intelligence about them.
So have you been seeing these the extraterrestrial or the UFO craft around you even more since the last time we spoke?
Yeah, the more solitary that I've gotten, I've seen about 2 or 3. The triangle kind. But that's about it. Some of the star kind, they're like stars, they're like orbs, but they're like giant orbs that fly around.
Right.
I want to say they're like singular crafts. About a year ago, I saw a silver one up in the sky, literally in plain day, and they just were trying to catch my attention. I was on my way from work, and I went through a lot of family disturbances, and that's why I've kind of been off the grid too. I kind of got off the grid, got away from things, but the interdimensionality still stayed current. Contact stayed current, but also got involved more spiritual in this path. I've gotten involved, to know, kind of knowing thyself and oneness, and I got into reading the Law of One, if you ever heard of that before, and universal consciousness.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so universal consciousness is a grand design of all things. And come to find out, everything is spirit. Everything, the Native Americans talk about it a lot.
Right.
What you're familiar with is they talk about the creator and the spirit, and it's close to that everything is spirit, and that the vessels that we inhabit are a part of this grand design, and the vessels can vary from a vessel referring to body as your temple, as they taught us in ancient books around the world. They teach you, and that so let's say these beings can have a spirit, and that spirit can inhabit a body, right?
Right.
So we're a spirit inhabiting a body. So and you're expressing yourself through your body, and it's your vehicle and your mechanism. It's how you're born into this world.
Right. So you believe that the extraterrestrial they have a spirit and a soul. Some of these things, right? Because of course some we know that are clones that are the Greys, but the interdimensional ones are the ones that have more of a more intellect, right? More of a spiritual thing where they can connect with a human being because we're kind of like in the same frequency, right?
Exactly. Now, the not just the Greys, but there is beings that have the essence. They call it essence, and we call it spirit. They call it the essence.
Right.
And have you ever heard of Bashar before?
No.
So there is a hybridization program that is very fluent, and it was between the Greys and the human beings as we are now, and they created an intelligent race that has emotions and is very complex and has essence to their emotions.
Right.
I can chime in on that and tell you about that.
Yeah.
They're called a Sani.
Okay.
I think it's SASSIA.
Okay.
And that's something new I've learned. And I've also had more spiritual contact. You know, I pray a lot more. I meditate a lot more. I've got into Reiki and spiritual healing. And I feel like I'm closer to oneness and the creator of the universe. I feel like this grand design is intelligent and it is all knowing.
Right.
And that has not changed. If anything, it's grown more since I've experienced life and seen life from the other side, I would say. Because there is a rift too. I want to say there is a rub between the spirits on our planet and keeping them safe, and then the entities that come from other places.
Right. Do you think? Is it the? Because you kind of get like the chakra, right? The third eye, sort of. What I'm trying to say is like you had a spiritual awakening, and it's what it's done to you is opened up your mind a little bit more to the essence and the knowing of the creator, right? And you're starting to get more in touch with everything around you. Is that pretty close to that?
Yeah. See, there's a lot of dualism that we experience on this world, and sometimes I'll even channel and be a conduit on my shows, on my TikTok pages, and other things.
Right.
And there's a lot more experience in this world, as I would say, idolization, idealism, and duality and separation. But in all reality, it all comes back to one, and we are all part of the grand connection of all things.
Exactly. Well, it's kind of strange because we get to talk about this today, because on my Facebook page, I just posted that I think a couple of days ago that I was going to start grounding. I went outside, took my shoes off. I don't walk outside barefooted ever in my life. So it's like my feet are real sensitive to everything, right? You know how it is, how people are, they always wear shoes. So I started doing this. I went outside, walked around for about 10-15 minutes. And you know what? I did it twice. I didn't get to do it this morning, but I did it twice, and I kind of felt pretty good, man. You know what I mean? I kind of felt like I was in touch with something. And I mean, not feeding anybody anything, but it kind of made me feel kind of mellow. You know what I'm trying to say? Because they say,
meditate and you got one with Earth.
Right. And there was I talked about it before, but there was a test that this man did live on Facebook or whatever. He had this woman and this old lady, and then he took a little bit of blood from her, and her blood was kind of clotting a little bit. The cells, kind of together, and then he goes, okay, go outside, take your shoes off, walk in the grass for about 15 minutes, and come back in. We're going to test your blood again. And all they were doing was an experiment. That's all. So she did that. She was probably about 70 years old or so. She went outside, walked around barefooted in the grass, came back in the office. They pulled some more blood off of her real quick. They were doing it live. So, and then they looked at her blood, and in the cells, they were nice and separated. They were moving. They were flowing, right? And then which they were proving that when you ground with Earth, it's good for your body and your soul.
It is good for you. It is. Your intention is everything on your manifestation levels. Like if you manifestation things and your intention, like water, like you can take water and look at it and talk to the water. If people are going to call you crazy, let them. But you can tell the water, hey, it's beautiful, hydrating, healthy water. And just because you said that, guess what? That's what it's going to do.
Yeah.
What you say and what you speaketh into the world is what comes forth sometimes. And that's also something I've learned.
Right.
I've had some experience with angelic beings too. It's like beings, like light beings that are close to the light coming from the Creator. And those beings are literally like they have a different essence than you would experience on a different level. Like their essence is very bright, very, very distinct, and sometimes they're serious. They have a seriousness about them, even though they're at the same time they're very childlike.
Would you say?
Because that's what.
Would you say they were pure, kind of like like being more pure than anything out there, and then like they have a sense of power. You know what I mean? Like a sense of like a powerful being.
They have an endowment about them because they are so close to where they are.
Right.
I would say, and they speak with that power and that endowment, because of how they are. But they love our music.
Oh wow!
They love our music. They love to hear people sing, and so do other beings. By the way, other entities love to hear us sing. We have one of the most beautiful singing complexes known in the universe. And I can tell you all that. They love hearing old romantic songs, classics, Frank Sinatra, Nat King Cole, Louis Armstrong. They love music with those vibrations.
Well, you know,
not so much
you know why?
Biggie and,
you know why? Because of they made those songs in the 440 in the key, right? That different frequency. Was it 432? I'm trying to remember. To where
I think it was 432.
Yeah. So it's just trying to it's something that doesn't distract the brain or your frequency, right? It kind of harmonizes with you and
harmonize with creation, because creation is all that there is.
Right.
Creation from the creator, and creation is everything that there is. And that spectrum is on not just our plane but their plane. Creation is creation, and everything sperms and comes from creation.
Now, when these angelic beings or interdimensional travelers come through, does it come through to you as a visual, like you can see them visually, or is it going to be more of a manifestation of just you and your inner self, to where they're contacting just you, nobody else can see them?
So they have the ability to tweak your senses to make you see what they see. That you can either have a natural gift of seeing spirit, as they would call it, or seeing essence, or seeing the holography.
Right.
You can just call it seeing spirit. And sometimes if they want you to see them, you'll see them. If they don't, you won't.
Let me ask you.
And that has to do with their creation as well.
Let me ask you this. I ask this to all my guests. Why do you think they picked you?
Well, I was, how do I say it? I called out in the beginning when I first went through my awakening about 2 years ago. And to tell you the truth, I've been reset a couple times when I say that. Like I've had to learn a whole bunch of new things and had to become a whole new person.
Wow.
To cope and understand things and to adapt appropriately. And I kept, some of the old parts of me that are familiar with, society, but I kept the evolved parts of me, as I would say, the spiritually evolved parts of me flourishing, so I could cope with what was going on around me and still survive. And when I went through my awakening, we were experiencing solar flashes.
Yeah, I remember that.
About 2 years ago, we had a huge peak in sun activity. The central sun was sending energy to the planet, and it was hitting the planet. And around that same time, I had these flashes and had experiences where I was, not only flashed by lights in the sky, but, scared too. Like, not just flashed by the lights in the sky, but scared too. And because when I first got involved with it, I didn't hardly know anything about it, and I was diving into everything at once at like 100%, and it was almost overwhelming for me. And I suffered a mental breakdown because of it, and then I had to rebuild myself and the understanding. And you know what? To be honest, I had help. I had help from there's a couple of doctors and therapists, right. But I also prayed a lot and had help from angelic beings and creation, from other sides and from other places to help me sustain the levels and to get back to integrating back into society.
You know, it's kind of strange.
So,
It's kind of strange that you say that you had a sort of like a breakdown, because a lot of the people that are in touch with extraterrestrials or extraterrestrial crafts or things like that around them, close proximities, it gets so overwhelming for them. They almost have a breakdown to where it literally just makes them kind of nuts, right? And or they want to find out more and more and more, but it consumes them in a sense, right? And
right.
But they have to turn it off for a while, if possible. If possible.
Yeah, I had to turn it off for a while. I was getting downloads and upgrades, and before all that happened, I didn't understand it at all, and it was just overwhelming to me.
Yeah, and that's, you know, it's just kind of strange that you said that, because I teach this over and over on my podcast about people that go through that same thing to where they have to stop, they have to reset because it gets too much for them, right? But I think
something to do.
Yeah, you're on the right track to where you got the help to where you were able to control it in a sense, to where you started going deeper into looking through the third eye, let's just say it that way, for the awakening. And so you could see it in a different level or a different in a different phase, to where you can actually receive it but control it, right? Basically is
I started listening to the natives, and I sought people who had knowledge and elders who have been experiencing this kind of stuff for thousands of years. And they've coped just fine, and they've had less technology than we had. Exactly. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I mean, I always talk about the natives over and over and over on my shows, because I always say they had it right. They have it right. Not had. They have it right. Because they
called them the star.
The what?
They called them the star. They called them the star people. You ever heard that?
Oh yeah. The Hopi. That's what they called them. Because they had visitors that came down, and they visited the natives that were actually, they drew petroglyphs of them, right? And it's all over the place. So they,
you know, we're star people,
right?
We're made out of the same atoms and materials that they're made out of. We're just in a body.
Exactly. Yep, we're made.
You know what I mean?
Yep, we're made of the same materials as Earth, exact same carbon, you know, everything, nitrogen, everything. So
everything that burns a beautiful star is sitting there happening on a micro level with us. Like, we have our own universe. And you know, something I could tell you, that for all the listeners that are out there listening to this wonderful podcast, I recommend this guy anywhere.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We need, for us to get things done the way we need to get things done, we need to put in the work and the effort, like he's doing, like I'm doing, and expect to be the change we want to be, and make the change that we want to see, and manifest it, and pray about it, and set these goals so we can better our planet. We can better our planet and better civilization as a whole, and advance where we need to spiritually and mentally and scientifically. Because when it all boils down to it, science and spiritology is actually becoming one thing. Science has already proven the existence of the grand creation of things.
Right.
And now it's getting closer to spirituality. And when they come together, the picture is going to be seen more. And those who have eyes that see and ears that hear will know.
Exactly. And
you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's true. And there's an article out there on it's on energy.gov, and I'm just going to read this to you real quick. And this is about it's about scientists that have figured out the superconductor to 3D and 2D, and it's about the actual interdimensional connectivity, right? That this is possible. It's not like it's not possible. It's telling you they did it, right? And it pretty much says here, on typical materials that we encounter every day in every state of art, chips, right? In computers, electrons move around in 3 dimensions, right? 3D. However, scientists can force electrons to move around 2 dimensions, 2D, creating ultra thin materials like graphene, right? In this work, however, researchers found that by adding the superconductivity into 3D electrons in bulk material and superconducting electrons simultaneously collapses into 2D, right? So in other words, it's telling you that there's something that happens when you put these two together, right? And it just makes a superconductor, right? And they figured out how to do that already. In other words, how do you put 3D into 2D, right? As far as
exactly. That's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, the science, right? And they're pretty much telling you that it's making a electronic. It's called electronic granularity, right? And where these two dimensions can interact with each other. So the whole meaning of this one was just the science about the superconductor, but at the same time, it's telling you that the dimensions and moving these particles is possible, and it is there, right? So, in other words,
well, they're aware. They're aware.
Yeah,
the electrons and the particles are aware of themselves on a micro level.
Right. But when they put these in computers now, and they're talking about the superconductor, how it's being able to do this, so because that's about the only way they can do it, right? Basically, that's the only way to do it for them to prove it in science that this reaction does happen and it does occur. It's almost like the Hadron Collider, right? That makes that particle, that the God particle, and then they say that that's opening portals, right, as well. I mean, do you believe that that's a possibility that our science is actually doing that?
So there is multiple dimensionalities to our existence. So we are not only a spirit or a light being having a human experience, we are experiencing ourselves in multidimensionality. So there are several dimensions to us, and there are several dimensions to the planet. And that's one thing that's monitored by the higher realms. I will stress or just touch a little bit on it, because the higher realms I speak with a very heavy hand with them, because they don't like to, per se, be put out there. But I will say there is a greater good of mechanisms that watch the dimensionality and the access of that stuff, because we live in a dimensional construct. If you think about it, we're very dimensional creatures,
right?
And we see in 3-dimensional, we see in 4 and 5 dimension, and the Earth itself is sometimes going through vibrational shifts too. Like Mother Earth goes through shifts too. Like, if you notice, it's not so much our fault, some of the things that are happening, but Mother Earth goes through her grumps and her changes too. And she goes through her vibrations. She has different vibrations and at different places. She has her own Schumann resonance. I'm sure you've heard of the Schumann resonance before, haven't you?
Yes.
The natural sound of each planet has its own sound. Like, if you could listen to a microphone on each of the heavenly bodies, each one has its own sound, its own vibration. Right. And Earth has its own vibration that goes up and down.
Exactly. Yeah, I think I touched base on that. What are your thoughts on? You touched on this a little bit on when you're going through the awakening and the change. You're a true believer that what you give to the earth, you get back, right? In other words, like when you talked about the water, purifying it, and we've seen people out there bending air. Literally bending air. I've seen a guy move water in a sense to where he's making the water move when it's calm. And go ahead.
Go ahead. I know a buddy that does. It's called aerokinesis, and since I've had my experiences, I've picked up on that. We have our superhuman abilities. We have our awakened abilities. We have our descendants, and we have our seeds and our where we're from, and that runs within us, and we're a reflection of that sometimes. And I'm not going to, shun it or anything. It's right. He goes to, he'll go to a restaurant, and he'll be able to move a cup with his hand and throw it across the floor, or move a fan with his hand from across the room, or see objects in other places.
Wow.
I can do that now too. I can move cups, and I can move pieces of aluminum foil, and I can move fans, and just by thinking about it. And I've made videos of it already. Like, I used to be shy about it. I'm not shy about it no more, because this world needs guidance and knowledge, and the world is not getting enough of it. And what happens is abuse and neglect of what we've been given. So we need to wake up and start doing the right things and with what we've been given, and advancing the right way, so we can better Mother Earth. And when we better Mother Earth, we better the universe. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So we have a couple of people listening out there live. Actually, thank you for everybody for listening on the live show. Shannon's been listening, and Mr. Anibal listening right now. He's saying that you are correct on what you were saying. And Shannon was talking about when we were talking about the extraterrestrials, how they come to you. She says that this pattern of asking to see aliens, she goes, I've heard about 10 people can do that. So how it's when we're talking about the connections and giving what you get back, and then now you're talking about movable objects, right? That you can but you can control. I've seen it done. I mean, I've done the palm chaka to a couple of people sometimes that took the pain away, and I couldn't believe that worked, but it works. It actually works.
Exactly. You're working with creation's energy on this plane of existence, and this plane of existence is manifestationable. And just as you can manifestation someone getting healed and feeling better, you can manifest, other things. So you're manifesting it, and you're already putting your intention, just like the masters that have come before us when they spoke of these ancient things of being healed and meditation and being in Brahma and stuff like that. They were speaking to us with truth and wisdom, and as much as it is then as it is now. And once, I helped heal a couple people over my phone. I used to do energy healing sessions over my phone for free. And I would use crystals in my hands, and I would channel literally the creator. I would channel the energy from the divine source of creation. And I would feel the energy come through my body, and I would use that energy to help people.
Wow.
Literally.
Wow.
And I didn't feel tired at all afterwards or anything. Like when I did it before, I felt tired. I didn't feel tired at all when I did it this way. And I did it with a prayer, with permission, with a prayer, and with the most highest guidance. And I've also earned, I feel like I've also earned...
Oh, I think we lost him. Yeah, his phone might have died. Let me see. Yeah, I think we did lose him. He's learned since the last time we had. I'll wait till he calls back. We've had him on the podcast before, and he might have had maybe a sentence to say or two. It was to now. If you've noticed from the last podcast that his mind has opened up. It's opened up a lot, and he's speaking his mind now. He's not as shy anymore, and he's starting to get himself out there more. And I'm texting him right now. We lost connection. So it's kind of strange that his phone hung up right now, but it's okay. He was giving us a lot of information on what was happening to his life and how it's changed. It's changed a lot. So let me see if I can call him back, and we just get him back on the line, and then that way he can finish what he was talking about. Very interesting. I really enjoy this conversation. It's an amazing conversation, and I hope you guys are enjoying it. Thank you guys for listening live right now. Unfortunately, things happen like this every once in a while, and but it's okay. We'll get him back on the line. I just want everybody to understand that this is not difficult for people to talk about, but what he's telling you, it's really an eye-opening experience, because he's experiencing something that is actually that's happening to him. Let's call him back. Get him on the phone. We'll call him.
Yeah.
All right, we lost you, brother.
I know, that was creepy. I heard this weird sound, and then the next thing I know, my phone dropped, and it said all networks busy.
Oh wow. Wow. Well, anyway, we were getting into a deep conversation about, how what you give to the earth and then you get back, almost like, in other words, what I'm trying to say is like, if you say your prayer and you help people and you use crystals and you use things for healing in a positive sense, then how do you, if you're going to do something negative, like not going to do a prayer and not going to talk to the earth, and do you think that's going to actually help somebody? No. Only I think what you do.
Think what you put back, yeah.
Yeah, what you're doing is you're giving to it and it's giving back, right? And I think the positivity.
Put into it, you get that tenfold.
Yeah, exactly.
And I constantly put out good vibes. And when I think about getting ignorant or judgmental, I tell myself, no, don't be that way, because that's what is toxic in this world. We got to get rid of labels, the judgmental problems that people have, and start living up to what we were created to be.
Exactly.
We are blessed with intelligence and life and spirit and a complexity of gifts that we were given, and we need to live up to that. Exactly. And of course, it's hard in this world, living and surviving with the conics and all that's going on. But you got to make the best of what you're given. Like, it's still a home. It's a place that you can raise a family and develop and nurture and show love and compassion. So why not live into those aspects of that creation? You know what I mean?
Exactly. Because, everything around us has gotten so politicized. But what we're trying to do is, like, I talk about this a lot, especially at the end of my podcast, that you have to enjoy every moment. The moment that you open your eyes, you thank the Creator. Thank you for the day today, and just stay positive and give people positive vibes. Talk positivity, have a good day. Whoever you see, smile at them at the store, because whatever you give, you're going to get back, and even if you don't, it's okay. It's okay. That other person, eventually, if they're having a bad day, the day will change for them and it'll be better, and we have to be positive and good people and good to one another, not this negativity and fight, politically and all this crap that goes along with it. But we just have to stick together, right? Because, in reality, if the crap hit the fan, all we're going to have is each other. We're not going to have anything else.
I can tell you that I felt like I just got something, like a message that I had to say. Love is the most thing that counts, that carries with you in this world into the other world. Love. The compassion that you show to others and to the world, if I could say a message any clearer, is that love, speaking with love and compassion from you, carries over to this world and to the other worlds. Love is the language and the power of the universe. It is not the others.
Exactly.
And there is keys, and a lot of other elements play parts in it, and a lot of other emotions play parts in it, but love is the message. Love is the most powerful thing that is like the universal of all things. Compassion and love. Because if the creator of all things in the universe did not show love and compassion, then the grand design of all the things that we have wouldn't be here.
Exactly. Would be totally something awful, and we wouldn't exist really in reality if that wasn't there.
Yeah, our reality and its fact that it is wouldn't be. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
So love is the key message. Love is the key message. We
even see animals, like cats, dogs, squirrels, whatever it is, monkeys, everything give love to each other. It's like they hug each other. Yeah, because it's you see that more than them fighting, right? That's basically it. So, and they're animals. They're animals. They have a totally different comprehension of everything that's happening around them. As us, as human beings, our mentality is more awake, right? And amongst each other. And
I tell you what, I had a bad day once, and I was praying a lot, and I was doubting myself. And 3 crows flew by me and sat on the fence, right, exactly, almost hit my van. That same day, flew across my hood, spread his wings as beautiful as they could, and then he landed on the fence. And this is at an Amazon shipping facility.
Wow!
And he looked me right in the eye. He looked me right in the eye, and we had this most beautifulest contact experience ever.
Wow! Wow!
And it brightened my day up. I have synchronicities like that happen all the time. It could be a bug. Believe it or not, it could be an owl. It could be several birds. It could be any kind of animal of natural things. But I've seen it come, and just the synchronicities of noticing it, you can tell there's a bigger thing happening there.
Wow.
Like that, those crows know, that giant black crow knew that I was having a bad day. I needed something to lift me up. So the crow flew across in front of me just the right way to where I noticed it, and the sun's light hit its wings so it would glow. You know?
Wow. And then people see crows as a bad thing, especially in movies and stuff. But if you had a great experience with a crow, and I've seen crows really do some really nice, cool stuff.
They're one of the smartest creatures on the planet.
Yeah, that's true.
Definitely. They mate for life and they raise their young. Like that's something they do.
Wow. So, Ani, so when we lost connection, I was telling everybody out there, you'll probably play it back later, but I was telling everybody how before, when we had a podcast about a year ago, that you were very shy, very limited on words when we were talking. It was actually the video podcast. I don't know if it's because of the video, but now you seem to have opened up. You're more awake now. You're more. We can see through you now. We can see everything that you're helping people and giving out this nice aura of light, right? Even Ani Ball's listening out there. He says, yeah, you used to be very shy. He says, you are right. And then he says, I believe, and he talks about with the balance. He says, I believe you have to be in balance in order to get those nice vibes coming through, right?
Yeah, you have to have a healthy balance of it so you can function properly, and you cannot be. You don't want to be too overexcitable, but you don't want to be like too underexcitable. You got to kind of get yourself to a level to where you can understand things and not be afraid, but you be cautious about things because there is a system about things. There is a process to everything.
Yeah.
And try to work your way around that process. That way you don't step on toes, and you're respectful of the deities, and you're respectful of spirit and other things, and by that way you get the best quality of your life. You get the best quality of things. Because I go for pacifism now. Pacifism. The way of peace. Peace through strength, power, integrity, and love. And the power stands there as like a guardian. The integrity is like the knowledge and the wisdom of you learning and growing and showing integrity in every aspect of your life. And the love is the compassion that you show to everything throughout your life. And the way the light is as you show your compassion. And all together, you get this beautiful compass of love and light, strength and integrity. Because you earn respect. Some things only respect power, unfortunately. And other things respect peace and love. So you got to find some kind of peace in between all of that where you can hold it all together.
Right on. That's very, very well said. So Shannon's asking, she goes, Richard, do you remember me? I met you when we first started this. I guess she's talking about ASDP or something. I got people from ASDP. We have a live chat going on in the background. This is an incredible conversation, and it's a great conversation because all we're doing here is talking about positivity and how you can be more of a positive person to another person as well. And it's not just about the interdimensional. It's not about the interdimensional or the extraterrestrial. It's about the connectivity, right, to the earth and to.
It's a connectivity of all things. It's not. It's the grand design of all things, and it's on a consciousness level because it's dealing with your consciousness and how you treat others and other things and how you approach things.
Exactly.
And it's also using the information that is given to you from other places and incorporating it into the realm that you live in.
Yeah, wow.
So I say it's like I'm taking in information that's given to me and I'm trying to word it the best way possible and trying to word it in a positive, uplifting way so the population can understand the words that I'm admitting to them.
It speaks clearly. You speak very clearly on what you're saying, and I'm sure people are understanding exactly where you're coming from and the openness and everything that's divine and everything that's out there that's connected to you right now. And I think everybody should be this way. I believe everybody should be this way to just enjoy life for what it is. And just connect with others, as we all do here in Alien Strand and the Alien Strand family. We always try to connect with as many people as possible, even people that are having a hard time. It's kind of strange because I've had other guests on and that connect with these interdimensional beings that are out there. And usually after the podcast, we'll have a conversation afterwards sometimes, and they tell me they want to say thank you for what you're doing, that you're doing a great job on just getting the word out there of that these things exist, and it all exists around us, right? So, but it's kind of strange that I get that for maybe 3 or 4 people sometimes, and after I interview them. And they all tell me the same thing, which means that we're doing something right?
Exactly, it is. And now, as things are coming forward, each individual and each one plays a part in the grand design of things. And I'm just playing my part in a world that needs it.
Right on.
And that's what you're doing too. And I felt like, I just got more confidence because I've been praying and meditating on this, and I have support where it's needed now. So it's like I feel like I can do it, and I'm wording it just the right way. And some of the words are coming through from downloads too. Some of the information that I get comes through that way, and I do it with the most divine cause, of course. That way, it is that way.
And that's a good thing. And like I told you before, when this podcast first started, when I started doing the grounding thing, now, you know what I'm doing now? It's like in the background, I'm like in my computer when I'm working, doing my other stuff. I have this music playing. I have this music playing. No. I have this music playing, and it's like it's for your chakra. It's like real spiritual, kind of real mellow music. It plays for about 3 hours. And it puts me like in a real calm state of mind, man. And
absolutely.
Yeah, but it gets me in a more positivity scale, and a more positive scale, right? Where I'm like, you know what? I want to do something cool today. I want to do something nice. I want to do something positive. And after I sit there for a bit, just kind of listen to that music for a bit. And it's that music, man. It's probably playing in that frequency that we talked about, and it does resonate with you in a sense when you have it playing in the background, like in a low, or just so you can hear it yourself, But I think that
I listen to the same. I listen to it before I go to bed every night.
Good for you. I'm sure
really good for that.
I bet you if you do that, you'd probably have really nice and cool dreams, if you do dream.
Sometimes I have dreams where I'm jumping from one reality to another, and then I wake up, and I hope I'm waking up in the right one, because then I'm in a fog all day. Because that can happen. The dream world is complicated like that. But if you listen to those high vibrations, like I listen to a mixture of 3 different tones, that one's high, one's medium, and one's an earth tone.
Yeah.
Because you need that earth tone. If you just listen to 850 hertz all the time, that's all you're going to get. And then you're actually your density is going to change too when you're listening to that high vibration. So you need to have a mix of music that kind of has a little low to it, and then a medium, and then a high, and it harmonize and just play it constantly through a skit.
Wow. Yeah.
And that's what I listen to.
And I believe we all should. I'm telling you, it works. It works.
It's good for your brain. It's good for your intelligence and your body to help harmonize, because we're 75% or 90% water, and water reacts to sound.
Yes.
So
yes.
It's good to and it's good to be kind to yourself. Don't forget to tell yourself you love yourself. Don't forget to show compassion to yourself, and integrate all parts of yourself. You know, if anyone else is out there needing guidance right now, that's what I would recommend too. Show light to your shadows and be that love and light in the world, even when it's dark, and wake it up with that light and your compassion that you were given, and let your vibration become what it needs to be, and that way you can be integratable in a functioning part in your spiritual evolution too. Exactly. If anyone's out there listening, I want to tell them that too. So
exactly, that's great. You know, it's kind of strange because my dad, before he passed, he used to tell me that all the time. It was like 15 years ago. He used to tell me, son, always love yourself, man. Always love yourself. Don't ever hate yourself. Always love yourself. And it's not
love yourself.
Yeah, it's not that you're being selfish. It's just he was just trying to say, like, just love yourself as a good person, you know, so that way no bad juju or vibes can get to you. You know what I'm saying? Probably said it subliminally to me. But Richard, thank you for being on the show today. It's been an amazing podcast. We really love the information that you have on here, and I'm sure we're going to get you back again, guaranteed, because you gave out a lot of cool information. Where can people find you if they're looking for you online?
You can find me on my TikTok page at universalenergies.com, and then on my Facebook, of course, with my name and my page. You can always get me on there. Let's see what else. I really don't have. I have an email too. I could put my email out there if you feel free, like emailing me.
Okay.
You want to do my email?
Yeah, go.
My email is sbtbowman89@yahoo.com, and you can email me any questions, or if you want any of my content or some of the books that I've read too out there. I've read the Universal Hologram Creation, and the Law of One and Oneness, and the books in the Akashic Field is another books that I've read. I recommend those books to anyone.
Right on.
And expanding your consciousness.
Nice. Well, what I'll do is send me all that information. I'll add it to the description on the links, and I'll put all the links on this podcast. The first one will say all my links. That's for Alien Strand. The next one's going to be for Richard. You can find all his links there, and then we'll get you back on the show, brother. Thank you for all the information and the positivity that you've been giving out to everybody out there. They say, Shannon says, great show, guys. I'll put I'll put the tones out there for you that we'll know what frequencies you can listen to on YouTube.
Get out there with Cosmic R. That's my stage name, and it's Blue Phoenix 89 Star at TikTok.com. At TikTok, if you ever want to look me up.
Right on. Sounds good, man. We'll put all those links on there. And again, I just want to reiterate, thank you for being on the show. Thank you for giving us all the information on the knowledge that you've picked up here in the past year. And like I said, you're more of a positive person, and you know what you're looking for. You've had that great awakening, and everybody out here appreciates you, Richard. And like I said, keep going, keep doing what you're doing, keep helping people, and people will just keep reaching themselves out to you as well.
Same to you, brother. One love and peace be with you, and love and light as always. And may the grand creator of all things bless you, and you continue doing the good work, and may his light shine upon you, and may it shine upon me, and may everyone be great, okay? You have a good, blessed night, all right?
You too, brother. Thank you for calling.
Yep, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this amazing podcast. It's been a wonderful one, and it's something that gives you that sense of you need to wake up. You know, not just when you wake up from your sleep, but just Wake up and smell the fresh air in the mornings. You know, now we got this cooler weather now. Hey, why not, right? Go out, ground outside, man. Walk out there barefooted if you can. If you can. Try it. Try it out for a week. See how you feel. You never know. You never know. All right, guys. Thank you for listening to Alien Strand Podcast. It's been my absolute pleasure, man. And thank you for Richard for being on the show, kind of giving us a lot of his information, the changes that have happened to him, and it's just getting so much better for him. I'll put out all the links to his information there on the description below after this podcast is over for today. We are live right now on Spreaker. You can find us on Apple. You can find us on Spotify, iHeartRadio. Look for Alien Strand Podcast. Just look for us anywhere. Type in Google Alien Strand Podcast. It'll pop up everywhere. All these FM, Caster, and Deezer. We're everywhere, man. It's because the information is there for you guys. Because all we do is give you disclosure. And remember, everything that we tell you here, this is for you. Everything's out there for you. It's for you to decide, right? For you to do. And move forward and get some good focus, right? It's like I've been trying to focus all day today, but you know what? After talking to him, I actually feel pretty good. Hey, I hope you guys did the same. All right, guys, catch us on the next Alien Strand Podcast. We'll be coming up here pretty soon. Don't forget to catch the middle films on Amazon Prime. All three, the middle part 1, the middle part 2, the middle part 3 are out there. Go check them out. Check them out this weekend. Hey, Halloween's coming. There's part 2 and part 3, kind of scary. Go check them out. All right, guys. Until then, you guys have yourselves a good day. Have yourselves a good evening. And have yourselves a good night.
About CE5 and extraterrestrial contact. Download my new book, now on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Apple, and 14 other platforms. Book authored by Donald Ledesma. CE5, Frequencies of Contact.